Hey, what's up, everyone? Dr. Jordan here. And today's topic is your next chapter is going to be a great one. And it's actually fitting, the beginning of the year. I didn't plan it that way. And it's kind of funny how things work out. I have a list of things that I kind of want to talk about. Whenever I think of something, then I add it to the list. And this was actually the next one on the list. So that's what we're talking about. And basically, it doesn't really matter what your past has said about you, what your future circumstances say, that this next chapter in your life, you have the opportunity, you have the choice to make it great. You might have had some terrible news that you just hit and you just heard, but it is our decisions of what we do with that dictates our output, our response, our outlook on things. Um, you know, I look at a lot of the ancient Stoics, um, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and it's always, what happens. They say the stimulus and response, but really the way our mind is and the way our life is dictated is the stimulus and then what we consider and what we do before we give the response is actually going to be the biggest factor in our outlook and what we do with our future and with those decisions that we make. Um, so if something happens to us and we see it as negative and we respond in our brain negatively and we give a negative output, then it's going to be negative. But even if something negative happens to us and we sit and we think, you know what, this happened for a reason, and what can I do about it? And how can I turn this into a positive? And if we do that before we do the output and the response, then that is going to look entirely different than what the initial, most people would say the initial input and response would be. Um, you know, we see it in the movies and things like that where somebody gets this amazing gift and they're still grumpy afterwards. And you go, "What? You just got this gift. How can you be so grumpy?" But it's the instant decision inside their brain to be grumpy despite the gift that causes that response. And the same thing happens in our life. We can decide that, say we get in a car accident. Well, we can get all angry. We could be upset at the other person if there is another person. We could be frustrated that we have to find a new car, anything else like that. Or, if everybody comes out safe and walking, then we could be grateful that, the car was there, it was safe, it was able to allow us to be able to walk away from what could be a really catastrophic event. Um, but two people would have an entirely different response to a situation, and it's all because of what they mentally decide to do. Uh, and that can be changed, that can be exercised just like the rest of our bodies. If we realize that we have that choice in between our stimulus and response, that we decide that we're going to make that decision, then it allows us to have a better response according to what we want, not just what we've been conditioned to do. And along with that, it allows us to have a better chapter in this life that we have. You know, we get to decide that, you know, what happens to us or is happening for us, and we're going to find the positive in that so that we can live a better life. We get fired from a job. Well, that gives us time to be able to find a better one. We get a promotion. Well, that allows us to, number one, either the promotion is going to give us more money or it might even give you more time with your family. Make sure that what you are working for is actually getting you what you want. So you might need to step back and take a couple minutes so that you really figure out what that is, instead of just getting out there and running and pushing and grinding every single day without actually knowing why you're pushing and grinding and what you're working towards. That's definitely a big factor in it. But you can choose that this next chapter in our lives and this next chapter in your life is going to be a great one, no matter what the circumstances are. we can decide to choose joy. You know, we're not always going to be happy. Happy is a bunch of emotions and hormones that get released into our brain, and it gives us the feeling of happiness. But we can choose joy no matter what the circumstances. And whenever we choose that joy, it allows us to have a different outlook on things, allowing us to have a better life, better chapters in our lives, and be able to just enjoy the greatness that's inside of us and be able to live our best lives possible. So go out there, be great, have an amazing new year, have an amazing life, and I'm here if you need anything.